Dutch construction firm Esorfranki has reported a 38.5% rise in first half revenues. That's from the operations it's still going to have after the sale to the Keller Group of its geotechnical business. Joining us to unpack the numbers is company chief executive Bernie Krohn. Well, Bernie, I suppose we start with the bad stuff first. On the civil side, you took quite a bath. Now, I don't think there are too many members of the public who would believe this, because the perception amongst the public is that the construction companies are all making money hand over fist because you're colluding amongst each other. So are you just bad colluders, or what happened here?
Well, obviously we are. Yeah, no, look, we're very disappointed about the civils numbers. There's 3 loss-making contracts, and each of them has a different set of parameters, I suppose, that have led to those losses. I think one of the things that we have to remember is that, you know, some of these contracts go back quite a long time. And I think there was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction of sort of after World Cup and in those times when work was really scarce and very low margins. And I think that's coming home to roost.
So
now.
you didn't get your calculations right. Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, look, there's other factors as well. You know, one of the contracts is up near Marikana, that's the N4, you know, up near Rustenburg, Brits area. There's an underlying tension amongst labour and things like that. Productivity is not what it could be, although the guys are really trying their best, but sometimes the community does have an effect on your workforce sometimes. Same up at Kusile and some of the other contracts as well. So yeah, we're disappointed.
So labour really having a negative impact on your numbers, even though it's not necessarily directly?
Yeah, and it's not always in the same divisions as well. You know, our pipelines division work very far away from major centres, and that they weren't impacted by strikes at all. They all carried on working, but you know, Geotech and civils came to a halt.
Bernie, the big story for you, though, has been the sale of your Geotech business for 500 million to Keller. The market didn't like it at all. Your share price has just been in free fall ever since the deal was announced. How you, I guess people are saying you might have sold it off too cheaply.
Well, I think, you know, we beat the price up from somewhere, you know, just below 400 up to 500 with a contingent consideration for 3 years going forward as well. That could bring it up to a total of 650. I mean, if you look the actual, and there's some cash, it's cash-free, debt-free as well, so there's some cash will come to us as well. But I think if you look at it, you know, I think the net worth of that company, it represents 36% of our company. It's about 440 million, and we could get up to 650 for it. And then if you take that net asset value compared to our share price, you know, we've realized some real value there. We weren't in the market to sell it, but you know, we think the price was right, and we really didn't have too much choice. They would have come in as competition.
But how firm is that net asset value of yours? It's stated now at R2.91. The shares are trading at R1.17. If you can buy something worth nearly R3 in the shop for only R1, you're going to jump in. Yet people aren't.
Don't know, maybe there's just too much negativity around construction. You know, when is the infrastructure spend coming out? Too many people competing for too little work. That's why we changed our emphasis to go into more on the development side of things, you know, where we've actually, and we spent quite a bit of money last year buying sort of, you know, contracts going forward, which we know gives us more visibility going into the future.
You mentioned negative sentiment, but according to an RMB report, a lot of construction companies who are aligned with future projects with the government are pretty upbeat and are confident about the sector going forward. And with you as well, 57% of your work comes from parastatals as well as another 24% from government. Aren't you confident about the plans coming ahead?
Well, we are, but I mean, it's very difficult to sit here when you've got bad numbers. I mean, our numbers are also, they're really split down the middle. Pipelines did very well. They've got operating margin close to double digits, and you know, they spent the first 3 years in our stable underperforming, and we've had some bad luck there with a BG3 contract which didn't really get off to a really good start, and then having the Western Aqueduct taken away from us. We've since got a lot of that work back, and that division is doing very well. We changed management there, and we set that up some time back though, and we're really doing the same with civils now. And it's very easy to blame people that have left the company, but you know, it's also under our watch, so we have put in interventions, we have changed people, we've changed management, we've got new people in the finance department and stuff like that. So we believe that the interventions are in there now, so we'll look at civils going forward in a more positive light. But to go back to your original question, is yes, but we haven't seen any of the spend. And we're a fairly small company, so we're not meeting the people that are giving out these contracts. We'd probably be involved more in the fringes. We won't be
That's
a front
interesting,
line
because Etienne Leroux from RMB said that with the Business Confidence Index, that was the one highlight for him, was a 70% rating in confidence, as Gugu was saying, just for the construction industry. But perhaps that's in anticipation.
Well, it is. No, look, we're confident. I mean, if our share price drops any more, and I've come out of a closed period now, I'll probably be buying some shares myself. I see value going forward. But, it's the guys say, some people have said, we've heard it before. But construction is a tough industry, and if you don't have the good contracts to take over or to make up for the bad contracts, it can hurt you.
Just before you go, if the public sector is not so appealing, then are you looking to increase activity in the private sector?
That's why we've gone more in charge of our own destiny. We have the opportunity through our development contracts to be able to do the work ourselves. So effectively, we would be working for ourselves.
Bernie, just to close off with the special dividend that you're going to be paying after the sale of the geotechnical division, there was concern that this is a bit light.
Yeah, I think, look, originally we went in to go and get support for paying the special dividend at around the 80 or 100 million. Our major shareholders weren't happy with that. They wanted more. Some of them wanted even more than that, but about 150 million in total is what we can swallow at this point in time. We're also settling quite a bit of debt, about that our whole high yield bond we are settling.
So of the 500 million, you're paying 150?
In special dividend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting times in the construction sector, it seems, but that was Bernie Kroner, Chief Executive of Esorfranki. Remember that you can email us on powerlunch@abn360.com. And after the break, we find out more about Marion Roberts' issues with the Gautrain water ingress arbitration ruling. More Power Lunch right after this.